Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. I must say, I am so proud of myself for sticking to the posting schedule of this podcast. You wouldn't think it, but it's a lot of work to produce a single podcast episode, especially for a person like me who is not a very confident speaker. And also, I tend to overthink a lot about what I want to say and how it comes across. So it definitely has been a learning journey. And it is a lot of work that goes into producing a single podcast episode. There's thinking about the topic that I want to speak about, the outline of the topic so that I provide you with valuable things, the actual recording part, which I think takes a lot of time because I fuff about with the technology. I'm trialing different things at the moment to try and, get the best quality episode out there. It's still a trial and error process for me. And then there's the editing part. That part I dislike the most. If I had to pick a part that I dislike, it's the editing part. It is rewatching the process of recording that can be a little bit uncomfortable, but it is a learning process. And I see areas where I can tend to improve how I speak, how I engage with the camera, how I engage into the conversation, how I make it a little bit more inviting, that sort of thing. So it is a great learning journey. And I am very glad that you are here and that you are tuning in. Thank you for being a part of my learning journey. But anyway, this week, again, I want to bring you behind the scenes and peel back the curtain to share with you the journey behind the scenes of me building a business. And I shared with you last week that it was very much deep in the hustle. I was really pushing to make certain things happen. And I was experiencing some blocks in the business end, which then translates to me putting in a lot more time and energy and effort into making changes or putting things in place in the business in order to remedy that. So this past week, I leaned into the complete opposite end of the spectrum where I intentionally rested and slowed down, especially when additional time availed itself. And the result is interesting. We always think that when we put in the work, we expect to see the yield, the results, equally as much as to the effort that we put in. But this past week, when I intentionally rested, I was actually a lot more productive in terms of I was getting a lot more ideas dropping in to my mind when I was thinking about work or when I was thinking about ideas. A lot of great ideas started coming to me. And a lot of strategies also started coming to me. It's not new strategies that I came up with, but it is strategies that I've learned about more in the past. And it started coming back to me. And I was starting to see it in different lights, how I can actually implement these strategies in my business, in my life, in order to, influence the result that I want to see. And in this past week, I've also seen the connections that I have started forming in my community, in my colleagues, and also in my relationships really deepen. And this, I believe, is a result of just being in the feminine, resting in the feminine, and trusting in just being. And in the end, I didn't really need the rest all that much this past week because when the inspiration came, so did the energy to want to show up. It energized me so much that I wanted to show up and do the work. I wanted to implement those strategies. I wanted to see what would come out of it because it excited me so much. I started showing up from a space of really wanting to, instead of feeling like I needed to in order to create some sort of result, to create some sort of movement or momentum in the business and also in my day-to-day life. It's such a different vibe and energy. And seriously, when we show up in that energy of want instead of need, it just brings a whole different perspective to anything that we are going through. It really brings about just different ways that we can sort of tackle any issues that come up. And any mindset blocks that we have been experiencing suddenly becomes a wave of inspiration. It suddenly becomes an empowerment tool to get us to the next thing that we want to accomplish and achieve. And how it actually shines the light on the problems that we're facing in a completely different way. And we see those problems as a means for more creativity and innovation and just to inject a bit more fun into the whole process and see how we can resolve each and every one of these challenges in a way that helps us enjoy the journey a lot more and help us remember how to have fun in the whole process. And this whole experience really amplified a lot of the old programmings that I used to have, where I found a lot of safety in working hard, and my self-worth was really predicated on the results that I got from working really hard. And I really believe that working really hard will get the results that I want, will guarantee my happiness. The more effort that I put into getting a particular result and getting the recognition and the praise externally, that fed into my self-worth. While that is a definitely valid way of getting that result and earning money and obtaining that wealth or whatever value it is that you are trying to call into your life, but there is a different way, and there is another way to balance the hustle, to strive and thrive instead of to strive and struggle. Because this was my inherent belief and my default subconscious thinking, it is what I've been manifesting my entire life, that in order for me to be happy, in order for me to feel worthy, I needed to work really hard. I needed to exert and push and strive, working hard to prove my worth, working hard to earn that pay, working hard to prove that working hard pays off. And the result of having that default subconscious belief is, burning out time and time again, unstable emotions, feeling unsafe in myself, and always looking for that external validation to tell me that I am worthy. And because I'm not 100% in control of the outcome, none of us are. What happens when the outcome isn't what we thought it would be? Or what happens when somebody else takes the credit for the work that we have done? And what happens when we don't receive the praise for the work that we've been putting in? Because now it's just business as usual. Everyone expects that from you. And so this praises stop coming. So what happens then? It's such a vicious cycle, and it's so interesting now that I have started learning the other end of the spectrum, the feminine energy of just being and receiving and being able to articulate what it is that I desire, and leaning into the energy of that about being worthy just for being me. And it is not to be confused with not putting in the necessary work. There's definitely a balance in putting in the hard work, but there's also the opposite end of the spectrum of being who we are and being in the energy of being worthy of receiving all of the things that we desire just by being in an energy of receiving, because we know that we inherently are worthy of all of these things. And to balance it with the actions, the aligned actions of making or influencing the outcome, but not tying our worth to it. And so when we are able to lean into the feminine energy of being able to receive the things that we desire without necessarily believing that because we didn't work very hard, because how it can also play out is that when we are handed the things that we desire on a platter, but we inherently believe that we need to work hard for it, we will pass that opportunity by and we would brush it off and say, this is not mine to receive because I haven't put in the effort to it. But what if we are ready to receive all of the blessings, all of the desires that we're calling in when it is handed to us on a platter? Why is it that we need to feel like we have earned it by putting in hard work? And why can't we feel that we deserve to have it and to receive it? Because we are in the energy of being who we truly are. And by being who we truly are, we are putting out such good energy in the world. We're doing good work. We're putting in the work when it is aligned for us to put in the work. And we are doing good things with the money that we have. We are doing good things with the energy that we have. And we are just being a light in the world. I know it all sounds really woo-woo, but then if you're able to balance the woo-woo with the logical, the structure, the masculine side of things, then it creates this harmony and balance where you're able to live life being who you truly are, desiring the things that you desire, and enjoying the things that we desire that come to us, and we are ready to receive it and feel the joy and the happiness that comes with experiencing all of those things without guilting ourselves into feeling that we don't deserve it because we haven't done the thing that directly creates this particular result. So one really good example is that this whole entire week, I haven't really put in that much effort into the business or making, serious connections or having serious conversations in the business. However, this past week, I have booked in 2 podcast interviews. My follower count has gone up significantly. The engagement has gone up significantly on my social media posts. The ideas for offers, the ideas for projects have just come in so easily. And of course, to a point, it is the effort that I've put in the past to set up the structure, to set up the system, having those good habits and influencing all of these outcomes. However, if I haven't been able to rest in the energy of being, of receiving the things that I'm calling in, and because if I predicate it on getting the result with the effort that I've put in, then this week I shouldn't have had all these ideas. I shouldn't have had those podcast interviews. There's a very popular life coaching concept that will summarize this very well, which is be, do, and have. Be who I need to be and do the things I need to do to have the things that I want. We've been doing it the exact opposite, which is where I need to have certain things in order to be able to do certain things in order for me to be a certain thing, which is a way for us to strive and struggle, whereas we want to aim to strive and thrive. That difference in energy, that difference in vibe, when you're able to balance the hard work, hard work is involved, because you do need to put in the necessary work in order to create a business, in order to get visible, in order to call in the income. There's work that needs to be put in order to build those foundations, set up the structures, the systems that helps with calling those in. And it is a balance of having that feminine energy of being able to flow and to receive. And in being able to receive and flow, you need to also set up the structures that allows for that to happen. And that's where the masculine energy comes into play, where you do the aligned work, where you set up the support system and you set up the structures that will help your business stay running while you are being and flowing and resting. The sitting back, the leaning back, the surrendering, the allowing it to happen, the allowing it for it to come into us, and allowing us to see the things coming to us and intentionally saying, I receive this, I have desired this, I've manifested this, and I'm receiving it into my reality today. I am very grateful for it. And I choose to be in the energy of feeling worthy of just being. It is about the harmony of having those two in balance together. That's really the huge lesson that I learned this week, because one without the other will not work. So I hope you enjoyed that episode. Thank you for joining me. I do want to take this opportunity to share with you a masterclass that I'm hosting on September 11th. It is all about how to revive your vision and thrive in the knowing of what it is that you really, really want. In that masterclass, I'm going to show you exactly how to figure out what it is that you're calling into your life, because it isn't the money, it isn't the time, it isn't the energy. Those are resources to help you get to what you really, really want in life. They're definitely tools that you want to have. So I'm also going to cover on how you can use those resources to amplify the results that you want to see and start calling in the actual things that you really want in this lifetime. So if that sounds like something that you will benefit from, which I think all of us will benefit from, knowing exactly what it is that we actually want to call into our lives, I will leave the link to sign up in the show notes and the description box, and I hope to see you there. And feel free to share it with anybody and everybody. We can all benefit from being very clear about our intentions, about what we want, so that we spend our resources, our time, our energy, our efforts into the right places to start calling in all of the things that we really want and start living our lives in so much harmony and prosperity, because life is just so amazing. Because everybody deserves a chance to create the life that they desire. I will see you in the next episode, and I'll hope to see you on the inside of the masterclass. See you guys.